Hello, this is Professor Blockchain from Professor Blockchain LLC. And in our course, Micro Investing in the Blockchain, we have been looking at what is micro investing. We have defined the blockchain, and now we're going to look at what industries blockchains are being used at this moment. So if we look in the financial fields, we can see that blockchains are being used in banking. And if you remember, we mentioned Ripple being one of the cryptocurrencies that can be used in banking. It's being used in accounting, which is a tremendous thing because you can put all the information onto the blockchain and you never have to worry about losing anything. And if there's ever an audit with the IRS or any other agency, you'll have all your facts in front of you. Now, that's not such a good thing if you are cheating, because then the IRS can find all these things. So, as always, you should be honest and you shouldn't try and circumvent the law. It's also good for investments because you'll be able to know when you invested, and it can never be lost if a system, let's say on the New York Stock Exchange, crashes or anywhere else. You can use the blockchain for payments, for loans. When you do a loan, it can be also in the form of a smart contract, and you can do it to transfer digital currency, for example, once again, Bitcoin from place to place very easily. Blockchain is also being used in the healthcare industry. It's being used for medical records. Well, you now could say, well, doesn't this cause a problem with the HIPAA requirements for privacy, putting medical records on a blockchain? And the answer is yes and no. Yes, it could cause problems if the blockchain is public and there's no centralization of that part of the private blockchain. But it's not a problem when you put everything on and it's closely guarded, because then no one's medical records can be lost and they can go from hospital to hospital. No one needs to ask what happened in the past, what did the patient suffer from in the past. It can also be used in the health insurance. It can be used in the drug and pharmaceutical supply chain. If you look at the article attached to this chapter, you'll be able to see that you can help fight opioid dependency through using the blockchain. It's used in HIPAA compliance, once again, to see that all the rules are followed, medical history, and of course payment. You can always track if you have been paid, if you are a doctor or a doctor's office, and if you have paid if you are a patient. It's used in real estate. And once again, you can read one of the articles attached to here to show how the blockchain is changing the real estate industry. In the future, title searches may not be so important because all that information will be on the blockchain. Just a while ago, we read in the newspapers that there was a first direct sale of a home by blockchain or through blockchain, and we're going to see that picking up because there's even today a organization, realtors and the blockchain. It's good for identity verification. Thereby you put all your information on there and you are able to control who sees what piece of information, but once it's on there, you're easily able to use that to verify who you are and to verify who others are. Once again, we've talked about micro investing, but here you can do micro real estate investing. And there's once again another example of this, of micro investing, for example, in Africa. You can use it for international sales and purchases, direct payments, and repair history. Now, if you we'll go back for a second to the repairs history. If everything is done and put on the blockchain over time of what has been done to the house, what has been changed, so forth and so on, you don't need an inspection. All you need to do is open up the blockchain. Blockchains are also being used in the legal system. Once again, they're great for legal records and upkeep, for identification, legal proceedings and protocols and record maintenance, because it is always there. Smart contracts, of course, we've talked about smart contracts and how important and how faithful they are. They would also monitor of contractual obligation fulfillment. And in the legal system, using the blockchain, there'd be no need for a middleman or legal interpretation because everything is in the if-then format. Blockchain in government and nonprofit use. Professor Blockchain is part of the Blockchain and Government Blockchain Association, and we could see that the blockchain's being used or can be used for voting, which will change how we how we go through elections. We won't have to worry about interference or hacking. It can be used once again for identity verification for public benefits, to be able to track who's been on the benefits, that they're getting their benefits, and a tremendous amount of other things. It can be used in the nonprofit world for fundraising, internal accounting, crowdsourcing, and direct donations. Someone could put money on the blockchain in an if-then, and if nonprofit goal X is met, Y amount of money will be transferred. Of course, we all worry about cybersecurity today, and we worry about our safety. Blockchains can be used with cybersecurity, confidentiality, fraud detection. If everyone knows what has happened, if everyone knows what is the truth, and the truth is immutable, you don't have to worry about fraud so much. Background checks, because we know who it is by the fact that people's identification are on the blockchain. Monitoring of international agreements, permanent updates, immutability of past findings, and the immutability of information. The information cannot be erased. And then we have the blockchain and the supply chain. Supply chain, we have it in retail, we have the energy field, drug manufacturing, IoT, any field that needs tracking, fact-finding, and erases the possibility of forgery and illegal activity. Example, illegal fishing. As we can see, the possible uses and advantages of blockchain technology in the business world is almost unlimited, and has not even begun to scratch the surface at this point in time.